Hello, everybody.
Good evening, everybody. How are we doing? Before we get too deep in the process and start running through our script here tonight, it might be a good thing just to start with checking that you can all hear us okay, because if you can't, then we have a serious problem.
So just drop us a message in the chat box below. Cool, Chris can hear us. Just let us know if you can't hear us, and we'll work towards fixing it if we can. Thank you for joining us. This is the first time we've done something like this for Manawanui. It is, groundbreaking territory. We hope everything goes smoothly. We will be disabling video and audio for you guys. Just otherwise, things will get a little bit too hectic. So if you do have something to say, please type it into the chat box below, and we will answer any questions that pop up. So thank you for joining us in this session of the portal. My name's Simon. I'm part of the product and development team here, and I'm joined here by my colleague.
My name's Jade Farrer, and I am the Community Engagement Advisor. I haven't been at Manawanui that long, maybe a handful of months. Simon, you weren't far behind me, actually. You're kind of new.
Yeah, that's right. So I joined in February of last year. So I've been here for just over a year now. I'm loving it, and I'm glad to be here with my mate Jade to go through the portal. Probably the most important piece of technology that we have for you guys.
So I just want to run over, first of all, why we're doing these sessions. So we're calling these sessions Working with Manawanui, and we identified that it was really important to get in front of you guys and show you how our products are developing over time. We realize that some of the changes in the portal and our other products may not be obvious to everybody. As well as that, we want to make sure we get real-time feedback from you about how you're feeling about our products and how you think they can change for the better. Right now, Simon is signing into the demo platform that we've organized for this evening. And the first thing on our list is that he's going to talk to us about why people should use the portal.
Well, there is a massive range of reasons why we should use the portal. My favorite is speed of delivery. You can go from completing a week's worth of support to getting paid a lot faster than if you were filling out timesheets by hand. If you are faxing them, emailing them. Yes, some people still fax in timesheets. And I've heard of people actually sending them by letter as well, hard copies. So
they do.
If you're wanting to get your support staff paid as soon as the work's done, well, the portal is probably the best way to do it. And if you're like me and pretty terrible at budgeting, well, we've got ourselves a budgeting tool, and our statements are much more up to date than the ones that go out in letter form. So I like the portal because it helps me keep up to date with everything a lot quicker. It's just a wonderful app, I think, and Chris says he likes it as well, so that's good. It's good to see that some people enjoy using the portal.
I think the key value add about the portal, and this will be obvious to everybody that's currently using it, but if you want to ensure that your employees are paid on time, the portal is definitely one of the ways that you can get closer to that reassurance.
Definitely. That is definitely true. Alrighty, so just getting a few things organized. If at any point you have a question, just type it into the chat bot here, and we'll cover it when it pops up.
Should I be handling that for you?
Yeah, that's right, Jade. So once I'm going into the portal,
okay, I'll handle this.
Jade's going to be the one managing audio, video. So what I'm going to do is share my screen so that we can all see the portal.
Before you do that, did you want me to talk a little bit about coaches?
Yeah, sure.
We've got that on our list. So as part of signing up with Manawanui, every single person, agent, family member gets access to a regional coach. The coach will guide you through a process of understanding how to be on the portal. They will give you a login, and they'll even assist you in the process of getting a laptop or other piece of hardware if you don't have one. We make resources available in terms of access to these coaches for the first 3 months of your relationship with Manawanui, and then from there we have what we call a customer experience center that will be your remote access point to any feedback you might need or any assistance with Manawanui. We have an 0800 number for that, which we'll share later in the session, and an email address as well.
Awesome. So yeah, I don't think we missed a method of communication there. I mean, probably carrier pigeon's the only way that you can't get a hold of us.
We do have Facebook as well, if you guys didn't know that.
Yeah, that's right. So our Customer Experience Center are the ones behind our Facebook page. So if you on Facebook and you send us a message, it's the team that are handling all of the phone calls that will handle your message, so they know exactly how to help as well. All right, so Jade, you're going to manage the newbies as they join in?
I'm going to manage people as they come in, and the next thing we've got is the budgeting tool. So we're going to go there next.
Budgeting, all righty, my favorite.
Yeah.
Okay, so in we go. Oh, there we go. Cool. So from the homepage of the portal, you have the budgeting tab here. Now, I've heard from a lot of people, and as we go around the country to our different networking meetings, a lot of people are a little bit scared to use the budgeting tool because they're not quite sure how it will affect their funding. So I just wanted to make sure that you all know in this session that if you're playing around on the screen with the budgeting tool, it's not going to affect your actual allocation. It's not going to affect the hours that you're paying your support people. It is purely for you to plan and then to try and replicate throughout the year. So if I add employees here and I add expenses, these expenses aren't going to get deducted from my allocation until I actually put them through a timesheet or an expense claim. So I'll just go from the top here. So on the left here, we have who the funding is for. In the middle is the funding stream. And if you have multiple funding streams, you're going to have a drop-down option. So you can budget specifically for each different funding stream that you have, and you can see exactly when that funding started. So at the moment, I can see that this is my total funds allocated and what I've spent so far, which means this is my balance I've got here left. So if I want to budget for the year, saying I want 2 staff. So what I can do is add an employee, and it's already picked the start date of my funding and the end date. So it already knows exactly how long we're budgeting for. And I've already got employees here. So these are the people that I already have added in as my employees. So I can use those people that I've already got, or if I've not got anybody to employ yet, I can pick a non-specific employee.
Can I just interrupt?
Yeah.
We're going to make this a bit of an interview because I want to make sure I understand everything about the
portal
as well. So in the employee section, you can have employees of all types as well.
Correct, yeah.
We understand there's casual, there's contractor, there's short-term, all that kind of thing. So any type can be tested in the budget.
Yeah, so we don't want to restrict you to just full-time employees. You can design any sort of employee that you can have under IF. So frequency here is how often you're going to pay them. So we do fortnightly timesheets, so it's easy to budget on fortnightly. So I'm going to pick the minimum hourly rate that I can use, $19.80. So if you want, you can have a specific rate for night rate or weekend rate, but if you know you're not going to need those, you can leave them blank. You don't have to put that information in. So as Jade was saying, we can choose a type of employee. So we can have permanent or casual.
And set the rates.
Yeah, and set the rate, yeah. Cool. So these tick boxes here, really important, and I only learned this the other day actually. So where it says stat days, bereavement leave, holiday pay, sick leave, if you're going to have employees take leave and you need to replace them, that's when you leave these boxes ticked. But say you know there's a public holiday coming up and you've got other supports that you can use. Maybe you've got family member you can rely on, or you can just make do for that day. You can get that unticked, and then that way you can get really close to your budget. But if you're not quite sure, and you know you might just actually get to the stat date and think, yeah, I actually need support, leave that ticked, and then you won't get caught short out.
So can I just check, for permanent employees, Manawanui actually accrues everything automatically in the background, doesn't it?
Yes, that's right. So every timesheet that you process that has hours of support for an employee, a part of that funding is then set aside to pay up that holiday pay. So at the end of the year, and they want to take a holiday, your funding has already been set aside so that you can pay that holiday pay. So you're not going to get caught short there as well, which is really handy.
Awesome.
So what you can do is you can choose how many hours you know you want, or if you just really want to see how far your funding can stretch, this button here, Calculate Maximum, will help. So what it's done,
Wow.
so for every fortnight at this hourly rate, I can have somebody for 15 hours. So that's, what, 7.5 hours per week. And that will get me all the way through. And you can see here, based on the above rates, it's going to roughly cost you this much per fortnight. Now, that's not exactly accurate because things like holiday pay and ACC levies and all that things are not quite an exact science. It's very difficult to get it completely accurate, but this is pretty close enough to how much it's going to cost you per fortnight.
It can't quite take into account weekly variations.
No, of course
staff being away, backfill, that kind of thing. But it gives you a really good, solid picture on what you can expect.
Yeah, so I'm going to cut those hours back to 10, so 5 a week, just so I can give myself a bit of a cushion, because I know I'm going to need more support than just one person per week. So that's saving there. Cool. Oh, and that's saved that twice. There we go. So what we're going to do is then calculate maximum, and there you can see it's giving me 5 hours. So we'll save that. So I'm still within budget. Now I know I've got a one-off expense. Let's say I need a new computer to do my funding, and I know that I can get a laptop for $500. This expense is a one-off because we're not going to be buying a laptop more than once, are we? No.
Yeah.
Hit save. Or description. We'll put laptop. And there we go. So we've got our expense in here. This fortnightly expense, I'll see, this is for payroll. So if you're a person who's using our payroll service, which we'll cover soon, it's already calculated into your budget automatically so that you don't have to worry about budgeting for it. And down here we can see a graph. So what we've budgeted for is the red line, and the grey line here is basically your allocation split over the whole period that you have the allocation for.
Into even amounts.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So if you were to spend the same amount every week to use up all of your funding, that's how much it would move. So as you can see, because we've put that expense claim in there, we're going to be short between September and October. We're going to have to make do on our own because we're going to run out of funding. So we might have to change our budget up if we're going to do this properly. So you can see here exactly how much our budget is over. So this budgeting tool is really handy, and you can play around with it as much as you like. You can change hours, add more employees, change the hourly rates, and get really close to that line there at the end of your allocation period.
But just to be clear, that again, this is a budgeting tool. This isn't saying that you're going to run out of money. Manawanui has many different tools and processes to ensure that that we're in touch with you well before you run into any trouble.
Exactly. So if we see trends like this one appearing where you're not catching up to your proportional spend, or this gap is growing, so you're spending at a higher rate than what is sustainable, we will contact you, we'll send you a call, say, hey, we think you might be spending too highly, and that could be for a very genuine reason. Maybe it's the holidays, Christmas holidays, and the support that you need will be increased. So you could be spending higher, and then
Definitely.
And then we'll just ask, are you planning to bring that spending back in line? And you'll say yes. During the school term, things are going to get a little bit more manageable, and the support's going to drop. So That's
Sorry.
no worries.
Through that.
Cool. So down here you can see month by month how much you're going to be spending. And these months here with higher spends, well, that's when you've got an extra fortnight in that month, just the way our months work. They're not always 4 weeks.
No.
Yeah. Alrighty. So I mean, if anybody's got any questions about the budgeting tool, just drop it into the chat box and we can cover that. But I think just to keep on time, let's probably just march on, shall we?
I did want to drop the first poll of the night, actually.
Okay, alrighty.
And you've got control of that, unfortunately.
I can do that. So we're just going to watch ourselves. There we go.
And hopefully this works. We've never tried it before. So we're going to ask you who currently is using the portal. You have the opportunity to fill this out. Have we dropped it? The poll is now open, so we get feedback right now. Here we go.
Cool.
Let's have a look at that. And everybody can see this. This is great.
Yeah.
So it looks like...
Oh, we can make it anonymous as well, just so you don't know.
Okay, yeah. It looks like a good number of our guests here today are using the portal.
And that's really good. It's good to see.
So thank you all for coming out.
Only
Jenny
partly.
says only partly. Thank you, Jenny.
Yeah, thanks. And if there's a part of the portal you want us to cover that you don't use currently and you want a little bit of more guidance through, just drop it into the chat, Jenny, and we can cover it. But we should be going over the main parts at least anyway.
Cool. So the next bit that we've got, Simon, you've covered a good amount of the non-specific person that we're going to talk about. You've touched on expense claims. Now we're going to be talking about the actual timesheets.
Yep, timesheets. We can do that. So what I'll do is I'll just share our screen again and head back into the portal.
So this is where the rubber hits the road.
Yeah.
This is people getting paid for the work that they've done for our people and families.
Yeah, that's right. This is the stuff that really matters.
Yeah.
So this is the timesheet screen, and it's going to show you all of your timesheets that you've either processed, paid, or have sitting there waiting to go, and it'll show you a whole history of your timesheets. You can see different statuses. So you can see one's been paid, one's that are waiting approval, and one's up to date. And then you've got a couple here new with no information in them. So one really cool thing you can do is if you know one of your employees is going to do the exact same hours for a new fortnight, you can use copy here, and what it will do is copy the exact same hours of the exact same days, so Monday to Friday or Monday to Sunday, and it'll update it to the fortnight that you choose. So if your hours are pretty regular, it's a really handy thing to do to keep things going pretty quickly. You can process a timesheet very fast. But I suppose we'll go through from scratch, and we'll go and add in a new timesheet. So if you add a new timesheet, it's going to ask for which employee you want it to be. So let's just go for this guy here.
Full disclaimer, these are all fake people.
Yeah, that's right. So these are all this is all test information. It's not real people. We're not breaking any privacy laws. And we'll pick the fortnight ending. Yeah, this one's pretty relevant. Alrighty, so you can see up here, this is the end date of the timesheet. You can see who it's for. This is where you add time, so hours that they've actually performed, and below, if they've purchased anything in performing their job and you need to reimburse them, then you can put it through the expense claim here. So let's just add some time. So it's going to ask you who was supported. So if you have more than one person or more than one funding, you need to pick the right one. So you can see here we've got respite and IF. So you need to be very careful which funding stream this person is getting paid from. So
sure.
You pick the funding and the person, and then the pay component is what sort of hours was it. So you can see all the different types of leave. If I scroll down, the type of hours as well. So it was ordinary hours worked, and Monday was say 5 hours, Wednesday another 5, Thursday 3,
Oh, look at that. You're even tabbing through. So it's possible
Yes.
to just tab through and do it.
Yeah, so if for those who can't, obviously you guys can't see me on the keyboard.
They
what I'm-
can,
Oh,
actually.
they can see me on the keyboard. So you don't need to use the mouse. I mean, you can click to pick, but as a keyboard aficionado, I like to use tab when I can. And a tip for new players is that if you hold shift and then press tab, it'll go back the other way.
Mate. That's cool.
So let's fill in the rest of this timesheet to make sure it gets paid. And you know what? What we can do is we can add a new line. So every time you want to choose a different type of hour, so ordinary hours or sick leave or annual leave or anything like that, you need to use a different line. So what we're doing is we're going to pick the same person again, but for this time we're going to say put in some sick leave. So on Saturday they called in sick, it's fine, put in normally 5 hours.
Oh, sorry, Simon. I think Chris is trying to follow along. He said he's having problems with the dates. It's jumping to the next date. I don't know what that means. Do you know?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I'm sorry, Chris. Is this when you? So you're saying is this when you're copying a timesheet? It's picking the wrong fortnight. Just let us see if you can. Oh, okay.
No, not that. Okay. Okay, we might take some feedback on that, Chris. Maybe after the session. If you could drop us a message in Facebook, maybe.
Oh, he's replied again.
It's not an auto scroll.
No. Alrighty. So we'll just move on as well while if Chris drops us.
Really important we hear about stuff like this.
Definitely.
This is the entire point of the Working with Manawanui sessions.
Yeah, that's right. And what we do have is we'll have a list of everybody who's joined. So we can send out an email to you guys if you wanted anything covered. So Chris, if you don't reach out in the chat, we can follow up with your email address and get in contact with you. So for an expense, we pick the person and the funding, set the date. So if for some reason you forgot to put an expense claim in a previous fortnight and or maybe you've only just got the receipt for it, you can pick any date further back, but we try and push to keep things up to date as possible. Your 3 months is a pretty big space for you to get your expenses in. Anything that's 3 months old and more is looking a little bit difficult to get approved, but we can go back as far as the 1st of March at least anyway. So we'll put $50 in. And it's an expense, and the expense type for us, well, we just scroll down, purchases, and he paid for my lunch, so we'll reimburse him. So we'll just lunch and drinks, and if I had a receipt to attach, I would attach it here, but sadly, because this is an imaginary lunch that I never got to enjoy, I don't have a receipt.
But ideally, we do want people attaching those.
Yeah, exactly. It's not always necessary, for some expenses like this. You don't have to attach it, but we ask that you keep it in case you get audited. But what's great about attaching invoices or receipts here is that it removes the onus on you to keep a hard copy. So if you hate shoeboxes full of receipts, if it's saved here, the ministry is totally satisfied with that. And if you do need to produce a receipt, it'll be saved in the timesheet and you won't lose it.
Awesome.
Yeah, exactly. So if we think we've finished with this timesheet and it's good to go, we can verify and submit. Look at the detail, make sure everything's good to go, verify, agree that this is true.
True and correct.
Yeah. Verify and submit. And there we go. So now you can see this one here is awaiting approval. So that goes to our payroll team in the office. They review it, make sure that it's all good and nothing's out of the ordinary. Then they'll process it and get your support staff paid. So we'll just go over this copy feature. So if we wanted to, click copy.
Same one again.
Yeah, so say we knew these hours are going to be exactly the same, or for some reason it turned out that the next fortnight was all the same.
Ooh,
So
not lob tricky ones that you,
go for it. I love them.
Simon. But if that previous timesheet had an expense in it, it's not going to copy that over, is it?
Well, yeah, it will. It will copy
Oh,
everything.
it will.
Yeah, so it'll copy everything. But it's not like you're just going to copy it and you can't edit it.
Okay.
It's just going to be. So we'll pick 14th of April, which is the next fortnight, and it's going to open it up. So look, there's the expense, and if you notice, the sick leave's not there. So
Okay.
yeah, so obviously sick leave is not normally
Automatic.
repeated. It's a one-off thing, so it's dropped it away. So if the sick leave somehow happened to be on the same day, and the next fortnight you'd add it in again, but you can see the hours are the same, and the expenses there. So if this was a fortnightly lunch that I was going on, you'd keep that in there.
Actually, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
So if you're doing a regular thing like lunch at a cafe, to have that there is actually...
Yeah, it's handy when you need it, but you just got to be aware that that's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll go back to timesheets. Is there anything else we were supposed to be covering in the timesheets?
I think at this point we're just going to check in if anybody has any questions or is confused by anything we've said, and we might actually drop the next poll.
Yeah,
because we've got one more point to make in this session for tonight.
Cool. So let's go polling.
So we want to ask you tonight, what is your most common way of contacting Manawanui should you need assistance or you have problems? We just want to get a gauge of that. Let's see if everybody has probably not come up for them just yet. There's a ping delay. Here we go.
Yeah, so we've been working pretty hard on making sure that we respond to people as fast as we can. Emails are getting answered, same day quite often. Phone lines, I don't think we have many calls dropped at all anymore. We're trying to, get to a point where every call is resolved while on the phone. So that's our goal.
And as few calls as possible as well.
Exactly.
I know that's a priority for us.
Yeah. So we're trying to stop callbacks and having to follow up with things. So we're doing a lot of effort to get what we call first call resolution. Yeah.
Awesome. So we've had one response that they use the phone. I think everybody is in Netflix mode and just kicking back and watching this. That's fine.
No worries.
That's fine.
Yeah. So we're a bit conscious of time. So let's probably just go.
One more point.
Yeah.
So we've got that you're going to take us through the fact that the portal has private mail.
Oh, so Jenny said the poll didn't pop up. Sorry I ended the poll, but we'll just push on. We'll just push on because we just got a few things to cover. Yeah, so as Jade said, the portal has some mail options. So let's say, for example, I'm filling in this timesheet and I want to make sure I'm doing it properly. So what I can do is I can use this button here to send a secure mail regarding this timesheet. So what it's going to do is it's going to send an email to CEC, and they're going to be able to open up straight away to this timesheet so they can see exactly what you're talking about.
And someone might be asking, okay, why would I use this instead of regular email? Well, I suppose one thing is this message is linked directly to this timesheet. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So you can see here the timesheet link is here. It's going, when this message pops up in the queue, they'll be able to open your timesheet straight away. So instead of if you emailed us using your private mail, whether it be Outlook or Hotmail or Gmail, they're going to have to find your name in the portal, and then you're going to have to give them the fortnight it's for, make sure you provide the information, and then they'll find it. But going through this way, it's secure as well. So the portal is quite locked down tight in terms of privacy and being secure. So you don't have to worry about any of your information being exchanged over private email servers.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So I would put in a message here saying, hi, I'm not sure if I draw spelling mistakes.
Ooh, pressure.
Yeah. if I've done this right, can you help? And I'm sure they'll probably come back and say, we need a bit more information, but we can help for sure. So this is what you would do, send a message, and then they would get back to you basically as soon as you can.
We're not going to do that because this is the test system.
Yeah, exactly. So we're not going to send anything just yet. Yeah, and so you can do this send mail from pretty much anywhere. Yeah, and I believe you can do it from the app as well on the phone.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So at this point, that was everything we wanted to cover tonight. We did want to allow at least a few minutes for you guys to be able to ask questions or clarify anything that you wanted. So while we're waiting for that, we've got one more poll tonight, Simon.
Let's hope this one gets through.
Yeah, let's hope.
Alrighty.
So in regards to future streams, we'd like to know whether this experience was helpful or you'd like us to deploy it somewhere else. And we've got a few options there. If your option is not on the list, please let us know in the chat box and we'll take it under advisement.
And if the poll is slow to pop up on your screen, just pop your preferred option in the chat box. So, you know, for me, I enjoy a bit of Facebook. It's good. Lots of people are on there.
It is Jade, but Simon's controlling my account right now.
That's right.
Thanks, Simon.
No worries.
Jeannie prefers the phone and for the streams. So Jeannie, we're just referring to these streams. In the future, we're going to be doing more live streams of Manawanui's products. We just want to know what social media platform you would use commonly to watch live streams.
Yeah, that's right. So Facebook has live streams. YouTube can be live. What else have we got here?
Skype, Zoom, Discord, and Twitch are the options we have.
Yeah.
Can't do anything. So it looks like the polls have given out on us.
Yeah, that's right. So Chris, if we were to do a stream again and you were going to tune in, what would be the app you could use? If you've got a Facebook account, Facebook Live is quite easy as well, or if YouTube as well. YouTube Live is quite handy. So we just want to we're just trying to gauge what apps you have available. And right here is fine for Julia. That's good.
Right here is fine. Okay, we'll take that under advisement.
Yeah, FaceTime. I don't think, Jenny, FaceTime would be possible for a group setting like this.
Yeah.
I think FaceTime is more one-on-one. Chris has all. So Chris is not.
Chris is the man.
Yeah.
He's got all of them. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I don't use Facebook. This is fine, says Jenny. Great. Just waving goodbye to some of our colleagues.
Yeah, that's right. I think we're last one's left, last one standing. Beta test. I think he's talking about a beta test. Yeah.
I wish to speak.
I wish to speak.
We're not going to be doing that this session. We will experiment with that in the future. So, just to round up, Simon, is there anything you wanted to say?
I suppose, thank you